Have you ever wondered what it's like to take a lap around here in a race car? Well, I had a chance to do it in that car with John Edwards. The TUDOR United Sports Car Championship Series BMW that's in the points lead right now. It's got 440 or so horsepower, but I'll tell you, it feels a lot faster when you're taking the track in anger. And that is coming up next on the Fast Lane Car.
I race the Z4 in the TUDOR United Sports Car Championship with BMW Team RLL.
Okay, and tell me about the car. What's the car?
So the car is a Z4, but it's based on a Z4. So it's built as a two-frame chassis, carbon fiber bodywork. It's all built in Munich, and so half of our team of engineers comes from Munich for every race. The cars are built there and then shipped overseas to the team Rahal, which is based in Columbus, Ohio. You know, there's a group of Americans and a group of Germans that come together to run this program. So it's factory assisted, you know, but the team is based in America. I'm used to wearing earplugs. So I made the transition to sports cars from open wheel racing, and I really had to change my style because the first cars I drove were not as advanced as these cars behind me. So you know, you have to turn in earlier, you know, get the weight transferred earlier, and the car doesn't really do a lot of what you want it to do. But when I stepped back into these cars, it was like going back home to formula cars. You know, these are you know, coupes, and they look like street cars, and yet they handle like high downforce race cars. So when you get behind a car, you notice, you know, you lose the front downforce, and the car wants to understeer. And so the driving style is a lot more like a formula car, even though it's representing a street car. Yeah, well, Road America is a place with a lot of history, so it's always cool to come here and race. But the track itself, even without any of the history, is really a cool balance of slow speed, you know, long straightaways into high heavy brake zones, slow speed corners, and you know, and then mixed with the long carousel, the really fast kink, and that kink is an iconic corner in motorsport. It's one of the fastest corners, you know, in the world. So
you take it flat out?
We can barely take it flat out. You know, it's not something you're going to do in a passenger ride, certainly, and it's not something you're going to do every lap of the race.
Flat out? You mean, well, I felt like you were flat out.
I don't. Yeah. Well.
No, we weren't.
We weren't flat out, and going flat out, you might do it every lap of qualifying, but you're not going to do it every lap of the race. There's a lot of big crashes that happen in the kink. Some of the biggest hits, if you see a crash in the kink, it's usually a long line of debris leading to where the car ultimately ends up. Because when you're cornering at, you know, 130, 140 miles an hour and it goes wrong, it takes a long time for that momentum to slow down, and especially if the car starts flipping and going in the air, it doesn't slow down. But that's exactly why we don't go flat out with passenger rides. You know, we're pretty close to that car-to-car stuff. Yeah, so Bill and I, for the passenger rides, we thought at first we were going by ourselves and not really, you know, getting a sense of what racing is like. So Bill and I talked about it. We said, well, why don't we lead one lap and then we'll swap and follow one lap. And I think it gives passengers a really cool idea of what racing is like, because although we're below the limit when it comes to racing each other in the passenger rides, it still gives everyone an idea of what it's like to you know, to approach a car and how you can be inches and feel like you're up in the guy's bumper. And you have to be that close to be able to be ready and make a pass. I've had plenty of serious crashes. Yeah, I mean, I've flipped a car in Laguna Seca. I had a big hit at Watkins Glen in the last corner, but that's part of racing. That's what we do. We push the envelope to be at the limit, and if you go a little past the limit, it has some pretty big consequences. You're always trying to save the car. So I actually heard a joke about rally drivers are saving the car even longer than we try to save the car.
Yeah.
And I heard a joke that the guy says, you know, I was sliding on the gravel and then I dropped a tire and hit a ditch, flipped into a tree and barrel rolled down a hill, and then I lost control. Because you know, I've had crashes where something broke on the car. The crash I had in Watkins Glen, something broke on the car, and I was spinning, and you can see on the photographs that the guy took from the inside, the car was gone, and I was like this, and my head was tilted, looking down the track that way, but there was no way I was going to save it. But your natural instinct is always to save it. And I saw a video of Sebastian Buemi when his front tires flew off in practice when Red Bull was testing some new parts on the suspension. He hit the brakes, the wheels flew off, and he's driving, or the car's sliding straight through the corner, and he's still trying to correct on the steering wheel. You know, it's just, it's hard to fight your instinct, you know, with logic when that happens, because a lot of what we're doing is just, you know, comes down to instinct.
Wow, that was incredible. I'm not sure whether I should cry or scream, man. I'm amazed at how tiring that is, even riding next to you. I'm still a little sweaty and a little nervous after that ride because it's hot. All the G-forces are on your body, and those guys are just phenomenal the way they handle the car. It really shows how much more I've got to go before I can even approach being anywhere near a proficient sports car, race car driver. So we'll keep it everyday reviews because that is a whole different world. As always, this is Roman reporting from Road America on a beautiful cloudy day where I just got to take a lap or two in a race car. See you next time. Ciao. Remember, check out TFLcar.com for more everyday, real world as it gets reviews. Ciao.